Hey everybody, this is Mattie with Altcoin Buzz. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we're looking at no fewer than a half dozen really positive, really uplifting stories about cryptocurrency and blockchain and companies and investors that are getting into the space. So we're going to do a really rapid fire look at all of those positive, uplifting stories. I think you're going to feel better after hearing them out in quick succession. That's going to be the second half of this video. Of course, yesterday we had a couple of pretty major crypto hearings in Washington. So we're on altcoinbuzz.io as always to start with a recap by Licia, who writes about them. Federal Reserve Chairman slams crypto, a congressman joins in. So Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell lambasted cryptocurrencies during testimony before the United States House Committee on Financial Services. Particularly, he noted they present big risks to dummy investors, as do any investments, and are great for storing illegal money, as is cash. I'm still not getting this argument, guys, that you can launder and store illegal money with crypto. It's infinitely harder to do so with crypto than it is with cash, which is the ultimate criminal's blessing. It's untraceable, and I'm going off on a tangent already, but you get my perspective. So, going on, the critique began when Powell answered the Republican Representative Patrick McHenry's question. To outline your thinking on cryptocurrency, Powell immediately pointed out that cryptocurrencies do not yet represent a threat to financial stability because, quote, they are not big enough to do that yet. Okay, but conceptually, I'd be curious to hear about his opinion because let's say hypothetically they do mature, the space matures, the market grows. Does that mean at one point they will present a threat to financial stability, in Powell's opinion? He proceeded to state that, quote, they're great if you're trying to hide money or to launder it, right? Not as great as cash, which is why he believes cryptocurrencies are a challenge. He then stressed that digital currencies present big risks to investors, noting that, quote, relatively unsophisticated investors see the asset go up in price and they think, this is great, I'll buy this. In fact, there is no promise of that. There's no promise of that in any investment or any facet of life, buddy. This is the kind of talk that bothers me. These specific examples about what isn't promised, what isn't guaranteed in cryptocurrencies. It's like, yeah, that's a default understanding if you're alive in this universe. Ultimately, Powell added that it is not really a cryptocurrency and does not have any intrinsic value, and that there are investor and consumer protection issues as well. So they went on to talk about a lot of different things. They talked about the potential of the Federal Reserve issuing some sort of Fed coin. It was then clarified that they're not planning to do anything like that just yet. So Licia writes that really this kind of stance does contrast against what you're seeing out of the Norwegian central bank's intentions. We're going to link to that in this article. You can take a look at that. And Switzerland's intention to launch an official crypto trading platform. So it's just interesting to see how, the Federal Reserve and its leadership, Washington leadership, stacks up to other institutions and other people all around the world. Took a shot at the volatility of crypto as well, pointing to the fact that for that reason, it's not a good store of value. So I'd say a moderately negative tone was struck there. But like I said, there were two crypto hearings happening in Washington. And concurrently, Licia writes, it's also emerged that Brad Sherman, a Democrat congressman, urged the authorities to prohibit U.S. persons from buying or mining cryptocurrencies. She writes, this is hardly a surprise given that in March, Sherman called crypto, quote, a crock. Back then, the reaction from Twitter users was no less offensive than the congressman's assessment. For instance, we have a quote by Michelle L. Staten, and let's go to her quote directly. So, wow, Congressman Sherman is back, and he's displaying the same level of ignorance as before. He has literally no concept of underbanked people whatsoever, and he just suggested we're going to have a major terrorist event financed via crypto. Shaking my head. So if you haven't been necessarily up to speed with the full proceedings, there's a video that I found here. So the future of money, digital currency. You can take a look at what Mr. Sherman had to say. This is a bit of a longer video, almost an hour and a half. But if you want to go through it, courtesy of, I forget the name of the poster here, GOP Financial Services. So thanks to them for posting this. We're going to link to this in the description below if you're interested in taking a look at the hearing and taking a look at the discussion and all the details that were presented. Now, don't be discouraged, ladies and gentlemen of the altcoin buzz army, because, there was perhaps a slight negative tinge in those hearings, and not, that was perhaps the tone, let's be fair, but there's so much else that's happening in the world. My contention is still that any negativity, any FUD that we're, witnessing in terms of those Washington hearings is just a reaction. It's just a defensive mechanism as a reaction to all of this positivity, to the fact that we're really seeing the beginnings of the crypto and especially the blockchain takeover. So taking a look now, we have about a half dozen stories we're just going to whip through really quickly. But for all these reasons and more, it's the best time. We've never had a better time to be optimistic about the future of the space that we involve ourselves in, whether we're investing, whether this is a hobby, whether we're just into the technology, following things. There's so much promise that we're looking to on the horizon. Let's take a look at this story to begin with. 2018 Crypto Investment Report. Institutional investors provide 56% of capital inflow. So what are we talking about here? The first ever crypto investment report, released July 18th by digital asset management fund Grayscale Investments. So what they're saying is that for the first time ever, we're seeing not only a significant uptick in terms of investments, but we're seeing a lot of that by way of institutional investments. So Grayscale has been overseeing investments into crypto for 5 years. They offer Bitcoin since 2013, Ethereum Classic, Zcash, Litecoin, as well as diversified offerings, notably its digital large cap fund. So despite the undeniably bearish picture for crypto markets during this time, Grayscale remarks that counterintuitively, the pace of investment has, quote, accelerated to a level that we have not seen before. So taking a look at the numbers here, total investment through June 30th, 2018 was almost $250 million, $248.4 million, the strongest ever fundraising period since 2013. 9.55 million in fresh capital has been incoming every week on average, with 6.04 million, 63%, going to the Bitcoin Investment Trust. So this is the article that other report is based on, PR Newswire. Grayscale releases first ever digital asset investment report. Comprehensive report highlights investment activity into Grayscale's family of single asset and diversified products during first half of 2018. Grayscale raised nearly $250 million across its products, surpassing any 6-month period in their history. And despite price reduction across all digital currencies in 2018, institutional investors accounted for 56% of all new capital raised. This is really what we've been screaming from the rooftops, guys, is that forget about, individual idiosyncratic, anecdotal consumer investment patterns. It's all about what the smart money is lining up to do. And this sets a new record for smart money investment as far as Grayscale is concerned. So I think that tells us all something. Take a look at their website here. They seem to be doing good work. We're going to link to all of this, of course, in the description below. And moving right along, in other positive news, on CNBC, they're discussing Mark Lasry here, who's saying that he's personally invested around 1% in Bitcoin. 1% may not sound like all that much until you realize his personal fortune is somewhere in the 1.5 to $2.0 billion range. So 1%, just doing the math, that brings it to about $15 to $20 million invested in Bitcoin. He has lamented the fact that he didn't get in on it sooner. So Mark Lasry, Avenue Capital Group co-founder, chairman, and CEO, weighs in on investing his personal funds in Bitcoin and the future of digital currency. And he's talked as well about how, the knowledge of cryptocurrency, how people, as they become more and more comfortable, as it becomes more ubiquitous and easy to access, his opinion is that we're going to really be seeing perhaps even a $40,000 Bitcoin in the near future. So there's a nice positive injection of news for you, courtesy of CNBC. And another profile that they did here, a staunch Bitcoin bear says this recent surge might have legs. So what are we talking about? So Bitcoin, of course, broke above the $7,000 per coin on Tuesday price point to its highest level since early June. Foreign exchange strategist and longtime Bitcoin bear Boris Schlossberg of BK Asset Management said this week's move could point to further gains. Here's what he told CNBC's Trading Nation on Wednesday about the flagship cryptocurrency. Take a look at all those subpoints. He's all of a sudden, taking on a positive outlook, and this is a guy that's noted for his pessimism in the space. So that's a nice piece of positive coverage. Ultimately, he's just an analyst, guys, but this is something that I think is bigger news. DJ King Crypto banker. Have you heard about this guy, Mr. David Solomon? So if you're reading this, you probably agree that the old school financial industry is in need of a shakeup. It seems that Goldman Sachs agrees. So this hit track, which you can listen to, is a remix of the old Fleetwood Mac song, Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow. It was created by Goldman's incoming CEO, that's right, David Solomon, aka DJ D Soul, named after two ancient kings and an angel. Solomon will assume the throne on October 1st, so he will be Goldman Sachs' new CEO this fall. So why is that important? Well, current CEO Lloyd Blankfein was famously undecisive about cryptocurrencies. Yet over the last few months, it's become clear that the bank is ramping up their crypto trading activities in a big way. They're setting up that Bitcoin trading desk. They're looking like they're going to be more and more embracing of Bitcoin and the technology. Now, Solomon has been a lot more clear on crypto and has gone on record saying that Goldman is focused on crypto due to a high level of demand from their clients. So this could be a real big shakeup in terms of company culture, in terms of perception, in terms of what they do next. You know, if they're proactively looking to be one of the first people on the block as far as an institutional heavyweight, I think it's going to be led by this guy, DJ D Sol. So looking forward to see what happens with him. And you have another article here in the New York Post. So Lloyd Blankfein to hand Goldman Sachs reins to Solomon. Again, Mr. Blankfein continues to be the CEO. He will be leading Goldman until September 30th, and that's going to mark 12 years that he's been with the Wall Street behemoth. But October 1st, look out for David Solomon. So that's going to be great. That's a nice big piece of positive news. Again, it cannot be overstated how much something like that can affect the culture of an organization and a company, let alone a big one like Goldman Sachs. And finally today, guys, to round it out, we have some positive news. MasterCard files patent to link fiat and cryptocurrency transactions. So this is not insignificant. Payment titan MasterCard was awarded a patent for developing a method of linking cryptographic forms of money to fiat currency accounts. And taking a look at what they had to say here. The use of traditional payment networks and payment systems technologies in combination with blockchain currencies may provide consumers and merchants the benefits of the decentralized blockchain while still maintaining security of account information and provide a strong defense against fraud and theft. So this has been getting a lot of publicity. I think it's a positive little news story that we can read about. If you want to take a look at the patent itself, we're going to link to that as well in the description below. So as promised, guys, just a rapid fire look at all of the positive news, despite what's happening in Washington, despite what's happening with, again, some of these light FUD stories out of DC. There's so much to celebrate. We're only just getting started, guys. And who knows what's going to come next. But make sure you're following Altcoin Buzz and Altcoin Buzz News to be alerted to whatever that may be. If you like this video, guys, leave us a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, do be sure to subscribe. Make sure you click the bell to receive notifications. We put out new content every day. Ladies and gentlemen out there in the Altcoin Buzz Army, if you do choose to invest, I wish you only the best of investing. I wish you prosperity, fortune. Not financial advice, of course, but those are my wishes for you. And we will see you again soon in a new video. Take care.